Well, we're going to be talking about something that's very dear to everybody, and that's your money. Now listen, folks, if the new year may mean an early retirement, maybe you want to retire at 59 and a half, okay? That could happen, especially if you talk with our next guest, Jeff Hahn. He is a certified financial planner with SC Parker and Co on Main Street in Williamsville, and he can help navigate you through this, avoiding a lot of penalties and making sure you're spending your money the way you want to. So good morning, nice to have you back.
It's nice to be here, thank you.
I'd love to be one of these 59 and a half people who are ready to retire, but it can be done for certain people, but there's things that people need to understand and avoid. With the main thing is that with withdrawals from retirement plans, typically before you're 59 and a half, there can be some penalties involved. But you can structure a series of payments. You have to keep it in place for 5 years, but so you're paying the tax on it, but you're not paying the penalty tax on it. Okay.
It's actually, it's not done a lot, especially in our area, right? But
you might need that money.
You may, right? With all retirement, right, it's really a process you want to get started on your planning and putting things in place a few years ahead of time. Right. But yeah, we work with folks like that all the time, and it's actually pretty simple when you work it all out. It
seems to me that 401k makes all the difference in the world. Tell us what that is and why that can be so important to your future.
Yeah, so 401ks have become, first of all, that number, it means Internal Revenue Code Section 401.
Is that right? I never knew that.
Right, no one knows that.
Isn't tax code like 10,000 pages or something?
Oh gosh, it's much more than that.
That's crazy. Yeah. But that's what that comes from. It comes from the Internal Revenue.
So it is a type of contributory plan, which means that you put your money into it. Right. And then typically the employer will add something to it on a match basis, right? These have really replaced defined benefit pension plans, right? Which gave you a benefit. You knew what you were going to get, right? Now you know what you're putting in. So it transferred the risk from the company to the employee, okay, and it really individualized it. So it's taken off, it's gotten huge. It is the primary in the private sector. 401k is for private sector, right? Schools, colleges, not-for-profits are covered under a different section, 403B, right? Government employees are covered under section 457. So all that stuff, it's just the tax law.
But Jeff, what if you've changed jobs? So you have a 401k from a former employer, and then you start one with your new employer.
So your options typically are you can transfer the 401k to the new employer's plan, or you can roll it into an individual retirement account, an IRA, and that just gives you a lot more flexibility as far as how you're invested.
If somebody is 59 and a half and they want to go ahead and do this, and they want to be able to retire, is there any reason why they need to see you now before the first of the year? Is anything changing, or? No,
nothing's changing as far as that stuff goes, right? The rules will be pretty much the same. And really retirement isn't it's not a set of circumstances that you're trying to figure out in a couple weeks.
Right.
Most of our clients, we're working with them over a longer period of time. But, if you're at that point and you're saying, oh my gosh, what do I do? That's what we're there for. We can really help people out that way.
You really can, because it is not something that you want to go into and just hit that magic age and say, okay, now what? You really want to be able to drive that car yourself and not just be a passenger there. So you can decide the lifestyle you want after you've worked very, very hard for all that money for hopefully a nice long retirement.
And I have to tell you that many times people, that period of time prior to retiring and making the decision to retire, it's a tough period of time for folks. But many times I'm meeting with them and I'm saying, look, you can go and retire tomorrow if you want. Right, here's how you would do it, and that always puts a big smile on their face.
That's
and
peace of mind, because you know what, they're talking with people who cannot retire, and to get that kind of news, wow, I mean, that just changes your life.
Yeah, we'll pull up the Social Security estimates right in our office, and work it out, right, and people see, oh, well, you know, it's not as bad as I thought, or whatever, right? And a lot of times, I'll tell you, with folks in their 40s where they're starting to go into their higher earnings years, right? But they're also at their very expensive years with children and colleges and things like, right? When you do the projections and show that, hey, at 65, this is what it's going to be like for you. It'll probably be a lot easier for you than it is now, right?
Well, you know what, too? And for some people who are watching, that retirement age is going up.
Yes.
So there's more time than you think to go on in and talk to Jeff and work this out about how you want this to play out down the road and what you intend to have and what Jeff can pretty much tell you and forecast. Here's what you're looking at. So it's always nice to know.
And this is, you know, it's the Christmas season, so there's a lot of gifting. People are gifting assets now. We can help you out with that.
Yes.
There's limits and reporting and things along those lines, but it's pretty simple once you've got it figured out. And it's a nice time of year. It's also a good time of year. At the end of the year, a lot of times people sit down and look at their portfolios and see how they've done. It hasn't been a great year in the stock market this year. But, but it hasn't been horrible
I keep checking every day. Nope. Okay. Well, you're right. It hasn't been horrible.
Yeah. Not like there have been big losses, but it's down a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But this is a good time to review your portfolio, see how your investments have done, what your other options are, and things along those lines.
I always feel better after talking with you, Jeff.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah, listen, make sure your portfolio is everything you expect it to be. Jeff can work with you. He can improve what your future may look like at this point, but you got to meet him halfway and make an appointment. SC Parker and Company, that's where you're going to find Jeff. And give them a call right now. You can make an appointment even before the first of the year, 632-6800, scparker.com. This could be your best call of the year and your first New Year's resolution to get your assets in order.